Mount Josh's Comics, some DC weekly news, not a lot, but there's some. Zack Snyder's back in the news because he's been doing the rounds for Rebel Moon, which is his new sci-fi epic fantasy series coming to Netflix. Well, it's two movies, part 1 and part 2.
The man loves to talk.
Yeah, so he's been talking about his time as DC. Justice League director Zack Snyder praises Ezra Miller's The Flash work and defends Aquaman star Amber Heard. Ezra Miller was always something of a divisive choice to play DCU's Barry Allen, but any ill feeling towards the director, who uses them, they pronouns, only intensified when they found themselves embroiled in a string of controversies. Those included charges of disorderly conduct, harassment, restraining orders, accusations of grooming and burglary, and all manner of peculiar, but I can't even say that word. Peculiar, you say it. Peculiar. I don't know why I can't get that out.
Oh,
behavior.
That's so funny. Peculiar.
There you go.
Peculiar.
Despite that, Warner Brothers forged ahead with The Flash, attempting damage control of the statement from the actor and a fleeting appearance from them at the movie's premiere. The movie later bombed. Talking to the Hollywood Reporter, Justice League's director Zack Snyder said he occasionally speaks with Miller and lent them support during their recent mental health and legal issues. Quote, they did a great job in the Flash movie. It's very difficult to play against yourself. Also no stranger to controversy is Amber Heard. Snyder cast her as Mera in Justice League, a role she later reprised, minus the English accent, in Aquaman. Very public divorce from actor Johnny Depp has seen allegations of defamation and domestic violence thrown around from both sides. Online, Heard is widely painted as the villain. Snyder admits he's been left dismayed seeing the actress suffer such a great deal of online abuse. Quote, I just don't get it. If other people don't like her, I don't know what to say. I would work with her in a second. Not sure anyone's going to work with her again, but she claimed she was retired, and then I think she joined another indie movie or something. I don't know. Yeah, so also he talked about the one movie he'd come back for.
No! No!
The Hollywood Reporter recently caught up with filmmaker Zack Snyder to take a deep dive into the ambitious Rebel Moon plans. However, talk inevitably turned to his time overseeing the DC Extended Universe for Warner Brothers. After helming Man of Steel, the director took charge of Batman, Superman, blah, blah, blah. We know that. Quote, we deeply cared about what we were doing, Snyder says at the time he spent fighting for his vision. We weren't trying to make an Avengers movie. We didn't know how, quite frankly. They brought in someone that did. I've never seen the Joss Whedon version, but it wasn't the answer. The aforementioned fans never let Snyder's vision go and campaigned relentlessly for Warner Brothers to release a Snyder cut. Their cries fell on deaf ears, but the filmmaker has revealed that on Ann Sarnoff's first day as chairwoman and CEO of Warner Brothers, she walked into her office to find dozens of bouquets and fruit baskets from Snyder cut supporters. Puke. That's Snyder pretending to be supporters.
Yeah.
One read, Welcome to Brothers now release a Snyder cut, and Snyder says there was one after another. She didn't even know what it was. She wasn't even aware of the saga. When she told me the story, she was like, this is the job, managing this. I didn't know it was a thing. Now it was a thing. Zack Snyder's Justice League was eventually released on HBO, though damning reports followed about toxic fans sending abuse, death threats, and even enlisting bots to fake the groundswell of support the director's cut had achieved.
Yeah.
As for those alleged bots, the truth is, it doesn't matter. The movie got made. If they were smart enough to employ bots in this thing, then they won. The movie has no business existing, and it does. Is he like patting himself on the back for employing bots to Snyder finished by sharing his belief that the superhero genre has not evolved. Admits, I don't have the excitement for it that I used to have. He's done with comic book movies for now, but admits if DC Studios' James Gunn calls, he'd be open to helming a comic accurate take on The Dark Knight Returns. I mean, he has done 300, which was Frank Miller adaptation, which was pretty good. But he mostly followed Frank Miller's work. So, I guess I would be. Would I be okay with this? I mean, he tried to do it with Batman and Superman. He kind of tried to adapt that Dark Knight Returns. That was the whole thing when he revealed it at the Comic-Con, and everyone's like, it's, ugh. On the Marvel side, well, the door may be open. Yeah. There was as well, he'd be open to taking charge of a Daredevil Elektra movie, adapting Frank Miller's Elektra Lives Again. But that's it, he insisted. Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, arrives on Netflix December 22nd. I don't know. I will say I'll watch Rebel Moon. His last movie, was it Army of the Dead? Is that the last Netflix one he did?
I think so, yeah.
It was alright. It wasn't great. Dave Bautista was good in it, but that movie was the strength of him and not Zack Snyder's writing. Last but not least, if you're a fan of video games and Wonder Woman, there's a new report out about Monolith's highly anticipated Wonder Woman game that states that the title combines elements from God of War and Crackdown. Last we heard from Monolith in regards to the upcoming Wonder Woman game, the studio was refuting claims that the title would be using games as a service business model, which everyone pretty much hates at this point, since we've had it for the last 15 years, games as a service. And people are more interested in a single-player experience. In the process of refuting the rumor, Monolith previously told IGN, Wonder Woman is a single-player action-adventure game set in a dynamic open world. Are you going to get to fly the invisible jet then? This third-person experience will allow players to become Diana Themyscira and introduce an original story set in the DC universe while also featuring the Nemesis system. Oh, they're using the Nemesis system from the Lord of the Rings games?
That would be kind of cool. Because they haven't done that in a while, right? They haven't put that...
Yeah, how is that going to work, though? Like, Diana's going to beat up thugs and make the gangsters do her evil work?
I would assume that it's going to take place in, like, a bunch of different environments. So I bet, like, half of it's going to be in the sacred land of...
Themyscira?
Yeah, and then, some of it's going to take place in... where the fuck ever.
I guess I really don't know how the Nemesis system will fit into that, because you could pit in the Lord of the Rings games, you could pit orcs against each other that have factions. You could tell them what to do, if I recall correctly, and that you could kill one to promote the other in the line of success. I don't know. This seems weird. Wonder Woman is not being designed as a live service game. This update came a few months after reported concept art leaked depicting some potential companions for Diana Themyscira. Now, Shepashel Nick of the Xbox Era podcast has stated that he's received some insider tips regarding the title. Nick reports the game is currently running at 30 frames per second, but the development team hopes to up the performance to 60 frames per second before it's released. Visually, the game looks similar to Gotham Knights. Yikes. While somewhat disappointing, that's not a huge deal breaker, as Monolith's two previous titles, Lord of the Rings, Shadow of Mordor, and Shadow of War, were not visually groundbreaking, with games owing their popularity to the innovative Nemesis system. Fundamentally, the Nemesis system is the means of producing procedurally created adversaries that go beyond simple, faceless red and yellow bar enemies. Every enemy in the system has a distinct personality, set of advantages, disadvantages, and goals. Additionally, they will remember previous exchanges with the gamer, modify their conduct accordingly. Players can control the enemy hierarchy via the Nemesis system. They have the ability to elevate their adversaries to positions of authority, betray them, and even kill them. This can significantly affect the gameplay by affecting how easy or difficult it is for the player to advance. In short, Monolith is behind the game. The Nemesis system will be the star, not the game's graphics, although Nick does add that the developers hope to add 60 frames per second. Jumping, leaping, and fast dashing feels really cool, like a good version of Crackdown. The lariat feels good to use, works sort of like Spider-Man's webs. You can wrap it around people and slam them. Nick also goes on to add that the game's loot system is very similar to God of War Ragnarok. Currently slated it's currently without a release date. However, it's speculated to be releasing in mid to late 2024. So DC hasn't really had a good game since Arkham Knight. Justice League
Agreed.
doesn't look to be. I know they delayed it because everyone hated the initial gameplay footage, and it still doesn't look great. I think Rocksteady is going to be really disappointed that they worked on this game for 7 years and it flopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So God of War is not really open world either, so I don't know. I mean, there are set pieces and there are maps, but it's not like one giant city that you can just go around and do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if a open world Wonder Woman game is going to be. I guess it could be like Spider-Man, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like that could be the case. I feel, if anything, it's going to be a combo of a open world / kind of guiding you a little bit more, obviously, than a fully open world game. It'll be interesting.
It's also weird that they haven't. If this is supposed to be mid 2024, they haven't shown anything yet.
It'll get pushed. There's no way this game. There's no way it's going to be released in 2024.
Yeah.
I would assume. Yeah, just kind of.
Also, don't trust Monolith on microtransactions. They had a huge controversy in Shadow of the second game for ridiculous microtransactions I think it was to manipulate the Nemesis system somehow.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
But it was they had to remove all that stuff that they had added.
Yeah.
So maybe they learned their lesson. I don't know. We'll
maybe.
see. Maybe. I mean, who owns Monolith? Is it EA or no? I guess it'd be Warner Brothers if they're getting the Wonder Woman.
Let's see.
Warner Brothers has always been shady with their video games.
Subsidiary of others.
What? Yeah, Warner Brothers. Okay, that's DC News of the Week. We'll hit you with an ad. YouSellComics.com, your new multi-vendor marketplace. You Sell Comics offers a site exclusively for buying and selling of all things comics. Slabs, omnis, trades, and more. Sell for as low as 5% commission or 0 commission monthly tiers. Run your own auctions, unlimited bin listings. YouSellComics.com. Bye.